Hello, Mally folks and weirdos. How are y'all doing? Today, we are going to be painting an EBS Harpooner, or actually EBS and Apex Harpooner. Because last time, we finished the Bio Bo Peep and Ruffles from the starter box. Except the bases, of course. I'll be doing those shortly, and I'll be doing some swamp bases, and I'll try and make a tutorial on how to make some cool looking swamp bases. So that'll be up on YouTube shortly, hopefully. And then I figured we'd take a break from the gremlins. We will, don't you worry, we will continue painting the starter box. Probably gonna paint the one on the wall, guys, next. So we'll do that. I hope you think these turn out well. I kind of like them. Not my neatest paint jobs, but still pretty good, I think. Jens Rydholm has liked the stream. Thanks, Jens. And Gmansker, I like harpoons. Yeah? Welcome to the stream, Jens and Gmansker. Nice to see you. Harpoons are cool, I guess. Yeah. So we'll be painting the whole box for these, of course. But I just felt like some variation. So we're going to paint this cool looking harpooner from the Explorer Society. Got the Turning Tides box. So we've got this harpooner I'm going to paint. Got her bro too. But I noticed after undercoating that I got a little, like these were really nice because you didn't really get barely any gaps. I think maybe that's common with a lot of the newer word miniatures. Or I mean, there are a lot of older ones where you don't get many gaps either. But I did notice I managed to get a little gap, like on his like shoulder and neck there. So I think maybe I'll file that or green stuff that. And actually, if you're at this stage where you like undercoated or started painting and then you notice you got a little gap or something, I mean, you can still fix that. Don't be too scared of that, because like you can still green stuff little gaps, and this one is actually barely noticeable. So we'll see if we do that or not. But I've done that plenty of times where I've noticed like, oh shit, there's a little gap there, and I'll just green stuff it when I'm on the early painting process. Might seem a little messy, but usually it works out fine. But he's kind of cool. He's got this crazy huge shark teeth on his shoulder. But we're gonna start off with this really buff-looking lady. Murke Swamp. Hey all, I like turtle dragons. Turtle dragons are awesome. That's a little random, but like, yeah, welcome to the stream. If we all say what we like, that's fine. Like, positive. And Gamanska, you guess they're water spears, who doesn't love that? Yeah, sure, okay, I can get behind that. They're really cool. I guess this is the association of like poor whales and whalers and stuff, but harpoons are cool. They're cool. So, hi, Ash and Hollard. I quite fancy those harpooners for the Lord Cooper crew I'm planning. Yeah, they seem like they could be really good. Like, I've been thinking a lot about Jetson lately, and harpoon guns really would really help pull things out of that aura. So yeah, they seem pretty good. Kamansky, they're definitely useful for shoving enemies into pit traps. Yeah, I can see that. Ashen Hold Art, or into big angry dinosaurs, maybe? Yeah, sure. Like, the dinosaur thing. One thing I gotta try out sometime is playing Titania, hiring Marcus, and then putting wings on the Melisaurus Rex. That's gonna be awesome. Don't you think? Did anyone... I wonder if anyone did that yet. That's so cool, like a flying Melisaurus. Oh, we got some spam there. Let's ignore that. So yeah, let's paint her up. I started with like a black undercoat and a gray undercoat, like over that. And like partly because I think a gray undercoat makes the miniature look better on the stream actually, but it was also really nice to paint over. So I'm thinking we'll start off base coating her skin, and I'm going to go for a sort of rosy Caucasian-like skin on her, I think. And the dude's gonna get a bit more of a tan skin. So I'll grab some Bogman's Glow. And just base coat that. I think sometimes I'm going to be base coating things off stream because it's not necessarily the most fun step to watch, but today you're going to get to see me do some base coating. I'm actually going to grab a little bit smaller of a brush. I need to clean this brush a bit more. I really recommend having a brush soap for cleaning brushes. Brush licking is already started. Marcus Fump, though it is nice to see the entire process. Yeah, it is, for sure. But like sometimes it can get a little boring watching me like base coat everything. I often tend to start with the skin. I know some people really like doing things like inside out. So they start with what is like, they start with the skin and stuff, and then they work their way outside with like the different layers of clothes. I think that has some merit. You don't have to do it like that. I tend to start with the skin and or the metals. The metals is because I tend to paint with metallic paints, and that can get a little bit messy. It really sucks to get these shiny metal flakes on other areas. But also, like, the skin is like, I want everything to sort of revolve around the face usually, because that's the focal point usually of like a character. So to me, it sort of makes sense to start off with the skin a lot of the time. So then you can just like balance the rest of the miniature around that. Marcus Fump, I haven't painted a model in like 5 years. Oh? Well, maybe you should get back into it. Like find a model you really like the look of and just paint. Is there any particular reason you haven't painted in 5 years? Do you not enjoy it, or do you feel like pressured, or that it's just frustrating or something? This is a perk with painting over a gray base coat, is that colors tend to cover pretty damn well. And the black underneath that is because I just find that like it's a little bit of a pre-shade, which I'll just highlight over, but like one of the perks with a black undercoat is that you can, like if you miss a spot, it's usually fine because it'll be black, so it'll look like shadow anyway. And so like the area like in the, which might be hard to reach, like underneath her loincloth and stuff, I get a little bit appreciating there, and I don't have to chase like gray spots out of the paint job, so to speak. Bogman's Glow is the paint I'm using right now. I don't know if I mentioned, I think so, but Marcus Fump, well, miniature gaming was put aside for a while. Never really got back into it, though I really miss it, mostly the community. Oh? Yeah. Yeah, I think it was, I don't know if that's the reason for you, but it was probably put aside for a lot of people due to COVID. Hopefully we can get things back to sort of normal soon. I've got a couple of tournaments lined up this fall, and I really hope they don't get canceled, because that would make me sad. So that Balosaurus Rex would be a lot of fun to paint, actually, now that you mention it, Ashenhold. So I don't have the Apex keyword myself. Anyone here painted or played Lord Cooper? Sounded like it in the beginning with the talk of the traps and stuff and harpoons. I did have the stat card for a little bit of a reference. You think you see a Mollisaurus Rex in your future, Ashenhold? That's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing you paint it. It's just such an awesome thing. Like, of course, there's a Mollisaurus Rex. Nathan, hi Nathan, how you doing? Sounds like a hint for a Rex. What do y'all think? Get Elinore to paint one? I wouldn't mind that. It's cool. I didn't try to fish for one, but well, I am painting a harpooner. So I guess we're out fishing today. Okay, so well, that's getting completely dry. I think we might as well just base coat some more stuff. Nathan, professional angler. Yeah? Sorry, I don't know. I think that my camera just flickered there for a little while. For some reason, when I bump into one of my lamps, like my camera starts flickering. It's really strange. All right, I think we'll paint something. Like, I didn't really plan this paint scheme, but that can be a lot of fun, like just picking paints on the fly. I thought I'd use some teal tones though, since well, it's EVS, or sorry, it's Explorers, but also like it works for the marine theme, I feel. So let's paint that loincloth in Lupercal Green from Citadel. And I'll probably go for some more neutral tones on the rest of the clothing. So how are y'all doing today? I was pretty tired yesterday. Hope it wasn't too noticeable on the stream. I got some neck pains lately, but it's a little bit better today. Been doing some stretching and such. There is some flickering there. I wonder if Waldo or the cat bumped into one of the cables or something. We'll see if it's gone now. So we'll paint our little hat. That turquoise as well. So we're kind of following the official paint scheme, like on the box a little bit. I got though with more of a dark teal than a blue. And teal is probably teal or turquoise, like blue greens, some of my favorites. I notice it's showing up a little bit more blue in the screen, but yeah. I think we're gonna do a little wash on the skin, and I tend to wash flesh and metals mostly, and like fur and stuff, textured stuff. So we'll do a little bit of a Franklin Flesh Shade wash, again from Citadel. Again with that flickering. Give me a minute and I'll see what's up with the cables. Hope that's all right. Hope it's not going to be a reoccurring problem, because like this equipment is pretty new. So I was thinking I'd go for like some pretty pale rosy skin on her. Like, I imagine that it's not the most sunny of seas in Malifaux. Like, I don't know any of the story of the Harpooners yet, but it keeps flickering. Sorry about that. I don't know. Didn't do that yesterday, I think. I wonder if that has anything to do with Asami somehow. Okay, so hello Per-Johan Axel. Hi Elinore. Hey Elinore, lycka till. Thanks a lot, fellow Swede. Nice to see you here. How are you doing? To give this a little bit of a shake. So since we're waiting for the wash to dry, I'll base coat the metal parts in Citadel Lead Belcher. She's got some nasty hooks there. I don't worry too much about getting paint on the ropes, because we'll just paint that later and we can paint over the metals. And This part should be metal too. Because it's sort of a crude trigger for that harpoon gun. So anyone here like fishing? I don't go fishing, but I did with my dad when I was a little kid. The first fish I caught, which was a bass, I think. I was so proud of it. I put it on a little stick and went around showing all the neighbors my catch. Like real bragging about it. Okay, so the wash of the skin is not entirely dry yet, so I think we're just gonna base coat something else too. And I'm thinking we'll paint her top dark blue. I'll do Citadel McCrag blue. And then we'll probably go for like grays for the rest of the clothes. Is that, yeah. What was the happiest day of your life? Wow, now that's a question. Wow. That's pretty personal. I don't know, to be honest. Or actually, I do know, but I'm gonna keep that private. But I might, yeah, it's a secret. But I might come up with some other happy thing I could share. A really geeky thing. It's not the happiest day of my life, but I did to continue that bragging theme with the fish. Not the theme of fish, but like bragging. I did manage to win the Swedish Malifaux Nationals of 2017, and that was fun. To be fair, Sandeep was pretty good at the time, and I did play Sandeep for all of the 5 games, but I'm still pretty proud of that. I did not expect to win. It was a tough field, a lot of good players. Have like the 2 Swedish nationals after that, I didn't do as well. Sadly, there wasn't one last year, and there won't be one this year either. Yeah, take the next best day then. I don't know. Like, I don't know. What was your best day? What was your happiest day? It's not something I think of very often, like the happiest day. Not consider. I'm gonna take some Citadel Dark Reaper, which is a nice cold, bit darker gray paint, and I'm going to paint her trousers in that. Ashenhold art. Mine was becoming a dad. Yeah, that's gotta beat most things, I'm guessing. Right? I can see that. So many emotions. Yeah. That's a big thing. I don't have any kids myself. But one of my sisters got a son this summer, and that was really cool. Like, I'm not the one who gets all giddy and super happy about babies. Like, I'm not into babies, to be honest. I really like kids, like when you can start talking and playing with them more, but it's of course a very special thing with a new life, and like especially when it's someone in your family who's gotten a baby. So that's a lot of fun. Congrats, Oni. Yeah, thanks. I think maybe I'll become a pretty cool aunt. Aunt Ellie. So after having painted this, I'm thinking maybe I'll want to dull down that blue a little bit on her top. We'll see. Might want it a bit more neutral than this. That's not a problem. We can do that. But I thought we'd go back to the skin. And grab a little bit of Bugman's Glow again. What's your favorite Malifaux faction? I think it's a really rough question. I mean, like in first edition, I played almost exclusively Arcanists with Colette and Mei Feng. And in second edition, I dabbled, like I played a lot of Arcanist, but also quite a lot of Neverborn and a little bit of Wrestlers. And in third edition, I mostly played Wrestlers, though I did learn third with Guild with Sonia. But I think maybe Wrestlers. And here in the skin, we're painting, reapplying Bagman's Glow, like almost all over, but not in the shadows, like in the recesses. I'm gonna look for the more recessed areas of the muscles and leaving that darker shade a bit. So yeah, I think Wrestlers, because they got so many cool characters, and they're sort of like, I'm sorry, but they're like the ultimate outcasts. They're freaks living in the fringes of society, or like kind of like rats. You got like, I love Molly because she's such an endearing, although perhaps a little bit scary character, where freaks kind of gather around her and follow her. And they find like family in each other, sort of. And then you got these complete nutcases, of course, like McMorning and Seamus and stuff. And they're like often very tragic and horrible, but also a little bit comical. I really like wrestlers. Like undead are. I've always really liked undead. So cool. But like I'll always love the Arcanists too. I think it's so fun that you can like that you can play the Union. You don't get to do that in a lot of games. So I really want to play some more Ironsides too. And some more Mei Fang. And I like the whole thing with the Arcanists, like the matter of perspective. Like, are they freedom fighters? Or are they terrorists? Whilst the wrestlers are more like freaks, outcasts, and vigilantes. But recently, I've been aboard the Explore Society hype train. So I'm thinking I'll take some explorers to tournaments this fall. Should be a lot of fun, I'm thinking. Like a new faction is really exciting. So we're leaving the darker paint in her eye sockets and around the nose, in between her lips. There we go. And we'll continue by adding a little bit of sorry. Need to stay hydrated. I'll add a little bit of oh, that's the wrong paint. I got the wrong paint out of the... There it is. Some Reaper Rosy Skin. These etiquettes are getting a bit worn. Can't really see very well what it says on them anymore. I've had them for a while. Marcus Fam, damn, I had a knock on my door, so I missed the second happiest day. I was just bragging about... Wait. Oh, hi, kitty. I got some cat on the camera there. I was bragging about winning the Mellifon Nationals of 2017 in Sweden. I did make a Facebook post in the Swedish Malifaux group about like, guess who's best in Malifaux now, like in Sweden. Some people thought that was a bit much, but hey, why win like a tournament if you can't brag a little bit? It's not serious. Good work. Yeah, thanks. Gotta be able to brag a little, right? But people in Sweden are expected to be quite modest. Like, it's really ugly to brag. Marcus Vamp, now you should always go full Ham McGregor. I don't know what Ham McGregor means. Is that a reference to like film or real life person or something? So with a mix of Bugman's Glow and rosy skin, going back all over the same areas. Leaving that previous mix showing a little bit like there's a sort of a balancing act here, because often, like, if you paint feminine miniatures, you try and make soft transitions, especially in the faces, or else it might look more masculine. But like, this lady is very muscular, so we want the muscles to be pretty defined too. Marcus Vamp, I'm the best there is or ever was. Conor McGregor, not so humble UFC fighter. Oh, okay, yeah. I know nothing about UFC. Maybe you hear a scratching right now. It's because, like, my cat got her litter box in my bedroom/working room because I moved to a new place. And like, this is her. She's a little shy and she's not used to the new place yet. So this is like her base of operations. So I'm gonna move the litter box into the bathroom, I think tomorrow. But so far she poops in my room, yeah. She does. That's my kitty. Poops in my room. Okay. I'm gonna get real close to paint those Harpooner lady boobies. There we go. Kitty, I'm sure it's clean enough now. Yeah, it smells like cat poop now. This is some great content, isn't it? Cat pooped in my room. Ugh. I'm gonna move it out tomorrow. Maybe I'm a bit of a soccer mom to my cat. So, like, we want to be mindful of the direction of light too. Like, the standard thing is to have light coming from above. You want to simulate that, obviously, like the sun and stuff. which means that like you can watch the miniature from above. Like this arm, the back of her arm is going to be more in shadow, and we'll try and keep that in mind. Action hold art. Well, that cat is thorough. Yeah, she's a very clean cat, usually. She wants that litter box to be very clean. She's also got this cute thing, because I'm living with a friend right now, or for the foreseeable future. And my cat, Zetkin, likes him. But she's a little suspicious, a little wary. And so she covers her food when she's not eating. She's hiding it from him. She doesn't want anyone to steal her food. Word, Kyle. Those highlights are already looking great. Thanks. Do you generally start with skin first or just wherever? I tend to start with skin. Sometimes I do the metals first and then the skin because metal paints can be a little messy. But like on this miniature, the metal areas are separate enough that I don't think there's going to be any risk of mess. Funny thing, I say that and then get paint in the wrong section. But yeah, I tend to start with the skin. And I tend to paint that kind of all the way to a finished level. And that is because then I can balance the rest of the paint job around that. Because the face is generally going to be sort of the main character of your miniature, like the main attraction. We're drawn to faces. Like when we look at something, if we identify a face, that's where we look. And like that's usually what we want with miniatures. So we want to, and Wilson is like the stream, thanks. So we want to draw the viewer's attention to the face, and therefore, like, I want the rest of the paint job to complement the face. I don't know, a lot of people like to paint like, and I did that a little bit here, where you base coat everything, then you shade everything, then you highlight everything. And I tend to paint like one thing at a time to sort of finished state. I might go back later to try and or to fix mistakes or like adjust things, but to me it's all about like balancing that color scheme. Like I'm noticing that this blue, it might be that it's just not shaded or highlighted yet, but I think maybe I want a bit more of a desaturated blue. I tend to paint one aspect of the model like to pretty much completion. Before moving on to the next one. But there's like no right and wrong here. It's just that works for me. I won't always do that. Like a merit with getting stuff on the table quickly, or like a good method might be to like base coat everything on a whole crew and then go back later. And it's something that maybe I should try and do more, but like for me it feels a little weird. But if you're painting for a tournament or just hate playing with unpainted models, that might be a really good method, I think. Do you in the chat do it differently? So adding a little bit more rosy skin to this next. Just trying to place those highlights in the middle of the paint sections we did before, sort of having contours of the last highlight color showing. I also want to try and hit this sort of eyelid here, which can be tricky. Sometimes whilst painting eyes, I just go with that shadow you get from the wash, and then I just paint 2 white dots. And that looks really good a lot of the time. But sometimes often I will paint like 2 dark horizontal lines for the eyes as sort of kind of like eyeliner sort of. And then either paint 2 white dots or a white line and then a black dot. I guess I'll talk more about that later when I paint the eyes. Well, this is tiny and I do have a camera in my face. Gonna lean in to see those boobs. Yeah, I agree, Kitty. I don't know what she said, but I tend to agree. I feel like Reaper makes some very nice skin tones. They got like this triad system or trio system. I think they call it triad. Oh, Kitty, are you gonna clean the little box again? I thought it was clean. I did empty it. Don't worry. Kitty. Now, where was I? I lost my train of thought. Did I say train of thought? That's not what I meant, but I actually like using the wrong expressions, like train of thought. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Okay. I'll grab some pure Reaper Rosy Skin and lean in real close so I can see this tiny face. And you can see that tiny face too, but also my scalp. So that's really interesting. So I'm painting lines on her brow and her nose ridge, her nostrils. Made that one nostril a little bit too big. I like her cheekbones. Little eyelid highlight. And her chin. And also her upper lip. And you want to leave a little bit of shadow there, but not too much. Like right now, it kind of almost looks like she's got a little Hitler mustache, and that's not a great thing to have. It's not exactly fashionable. Can't say that. Going back, I'm gonna grab some Rhinox hide, a dark chocolatey brown to pick up that shadow of the upper lip again, because I kind of ruined that. And define that nostril a little bit. Might as well paint the eye sockets to darken them a little bit with this Rhinox hide. I know some people start with the eyes and then paint the rest of the face. I do it the other way around. But I think they had sort of the same argument that I had, like the eyes are the center of the face and therefore are the most important thing. But I just find that it's easy to mess things up like that to me. So I like to save the eyes for later. But it is easy to mess faces up. Like they're one of the harder things to paint. Of the like usual repertoire of stuff to paint. So I got thinned down Reaper Rosy Skin with a tiny bit of Bagman's Glow here to try and blend that together. Thin down with water. Like I like her brow to be a bit stark because it adds to her grim demeanor. Like I feel like she's supposed to look like a really grim, intimidating person. Going back with a little bit of Rosy Skin. Kitty's down on the toilet, so now she's back eating. That's a cat's life. Got space for more now. Word Kyle, any idea on how you plan on basing the Harpooners / EVS crew? I do actually. I think maybe it would be cool to have them like standing on a beachfront, like on a beachfront. Do you even say beachfront? But yeah, like on a beach, would be cool. I haven't really done that ever. But I was thinking like on the beach, sort of ready to go into the sea, like symbolically, sort of, almost half symbolically. But I'm all ears if people's got some other cool ideas. Okay, time for the more tiny boob painting. It's so small. Like, I'm not saying that your boobs are so small, but that's because you're very small, okay, lady? I'm being really awkward now, I know. Just didn't want to insult her, like. Got some side boob showing there. Beach idea sounds cool. Thanks. I don't know if it'll be like I'm not going for a Paradise Island beach. I think more of a like the beach to a not super friendly sea, I'm guessing. Because I don't have the Explorers book yet, so but I'm kind of so like I don't know if the Harpooners hang around. Well, I suppose like you got Dr. Beebe, he's like exploring the ocean in Malifaux, right? I need to get that book. Maybe a Pebble Beach? Yeah, maybe. I don't know what to like. I don't know if I have. Maybe I'll have to go hunting for materials. I don't know how to make a Pebble Beach, I suppose. Maybe I can just use my Vallejo texture paints. Trying to hit these ridges, sort of, for muscles. A Pebble Beach would be nice. And it would be cool to do some waves, like small waves hitting the shore. Because I've got some Vallejo water texture stuff. And I've only used the still water before, but I bought like that translucent water gel. So I'm gonna experiment with that. I've been meaning to do more water texture for quite a long time. because it's been a long time since I mean, like I've done some super easy stuff, but like water effects can make bases look really cool. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can just use still water and it can look great. Okay, so we're hitting the ridges or like uppermost parts of these muscles, and I think I like with rosy skin, and we're gonna tone that down a little bit. Like it's a bit harsh right now. We want to blend that in a little bit with the rest, I find. Anyone in the chat have like a basing project they really want to try out but haven't gotten around to yet? I had this thought of making like a dreamer crew with a sort of like basing inspired by the classical level clock tower from Castlevania, but I never really got around to that. Like I never painted my dreamer crew. Painted Pandora, Lilith, and Claudie, and then kept being intimidated by my Nightmare Lord Chumpy Bits, I guess. Such a cool, huge model that I kept putting that off. Brush licking continues. I should know that going to try doing a rock pool base for the Kirkanoid waiting on my shelf. Rock pool? What is like a rock pool? Is it like when you've got naturally occurring pools or something? There. Pinning those knuckles over his skin like a tide pool. Yeah, that sounds really cool. And it also sounds pretty cozy for the Kirkanoid. They're gonna be so happy. I miss playing the other side. I should try and get my friends to play it again soon. I got a Cult of the Burning Man on like destroyed cobblestone bases. I want to continue painting that. Okay, so we're gonna grab some rosy skin and Bogman's Glow mix, like mostly rosy skin, mixed with water, and I want to try and gonna like do some glazing to blend those highlights together, because I'm gonna use Reaper. Reaper's got a paint called Rosy Highlight, which is made to highlight this trio. Battery swap time. I forgot to charge my battery today, so there's a very quick battery swap. I'm sorry. Be back very soon. I also got this adapter. I'm gonna be picking out from the mail like very soon. So we're not gonna have to deal with this. There we go. Sorry for that inconvenience. Got like, we had to wait a bit for that adapter because COVID reasons. Like, it's been ordered ages ago and it's finally been posted. Because I've got I'm streaming with a Canon EOS M50 Mark II, and you need an adapter to have it plugged into the wall instead of running on a battery. And I've got 2 batteries, but when they're not fully charged, a cat, that's my painting water. Okay. Pretty excited for the Other Side starter box set. It looks so cool. Especially into that Court of Two Kirai stuff, because then I can add that to my cult. And it'll be one happy court cult family. On the Other Side is such a fun game. Looking forward to more people getting into that so I can get more games in. Grabbing a wee bit more of that rosy skin to go back and highlight those muscles again. Sometimes I do quicker paint jobs than these, but hey, it's all good fun trying to push it a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that tide pool. Are you planning on doing that soon, Ashenhold? Now I kind of want to see a swimming pool full of cups. That'd make them happy, I feel. Still makes me smile when I think of the fact that the new Sybarite title has the triggered Gopify. Gopify your life. Ashenhold might break up the augmented I'm working on with some other stuff. Yeah, like, why not? It's nice to have a little break sometimes. keep that inspiration up, I feel like. That shoulder's looking a little rough. See, I've got the augmented, but I've got the M2 Hoffman box. I need to paint that sometime. That reminds me, I need to read Hoffman's title properly, because when I saw it previewed, I was kind of tired. I only looked at the artwork. And I noticed like the StarCraft reference about the pylons, and that made me chuckle. Have you gotten any games in with Hoffman, or are you waiting for the point where you're finished painting them? Ashen, trying to be disciplined and get them painted before I play with them. Yeah, that's strong. Playing with painted miniatures is always more fun. Though sometimes I can try and fish for some, like, not inspiration, more like motivation to paint my stuff by playing with it to build up some excitement. Like, if I'll play and paint it and then I really enjoy playing them, I might sometimes get like really pumped about painting those models. But it is more fun to play them painted. I think I have a game planned for sometime next month, so I have a rough deadline to work with. That's nice. I got a new follower, but I can't see the name. What was the new follower? Just showed up as a black square for me. Welcome anyway, new follower. Did anyone see who the new follower was? I want to welcome them, like, properly. Boop, 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 boop. I've got a game lined up this Sunday with Tara as the opponent. I'm going to try Jedsa. And I'm going to play Unpainted, and I'm going to be ashamed of myself. But thanks for the follow, CanRX. Yeah, thanks. I don't know why that's not showing up for me. It's a little weird. I actually got a game lined up for Monday, too. I need to learn Jedsa. She's a little complicated, that one. Plays in a bit of a special way. I played against her once, and that helps, too. Okay. Being a bit back and forth with this. Highlighting business. So welcome to the channel, CanRX. Again, how are you doing? Hope you're having a nice day. We're painting a word. We're painting a explorer's harpooner from the keywords EVS and Apex. They're sort of meant to be played with Maxine and Lord Cooper. And they're from the EVS box called, is it Turning Tides or Rising Tides? Rising Tides, I think. I messed that up. Forgetful. I wonder what you whale in Malifaux. I bet Malifaux whalers are pretty badass. Or harpooners, I should say. They're not called whalers after all. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some of that Reaper Rosy highlight I spoke about earlier, which is of course even brighter than the rosy skin. Who would have thought? And we're gonna do some really bright highlighting. And in case anyone was wondering, the brush I'm using is a Raphael size 1, or a Raphael 8404 size 1, which is a really nice one, and I use it for most things. When base coating larger models, I'll use a larger brush. And when dry brushing, of course, don't want to dry brush with these fancy brushes. I find this works well for most Malifaux miniatures. So again, I'm licking the brush. Come on, brush. Stop misbehaving. Gonna do a little dot of a highlight on her chin. And then put like small horizontal lines as highlights across her cheekbones. Because those will always tend to catch a bunch of light. And her brows. Gonna do a tiny highlight right in the corner there of that boobie. And like thin highlights in the middle of the previous highlights on the muscles. The knuckles and the joints in the fingers. And on top of this, biceps. I think also like this area between the boobies. And those finger joints, fingertips. These underarm muscles. Just keep highlighting underneath the elbow, on top of the elbow, of course. And on this muscle, I don't remember what it's called. The back arm muscle thingy. Where's the miniature painting anatomist when you need one, right? Little dots on her knuckles and this hand. Either the biceps or the triceps. I think that's the triceps then, because the bicep was the one I like mentioned before that. Thanks. So hi Tiamatinen. Are you like the anatomist I called for? Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here. How are you doing? I like that I summoned help and help arrived in the form of a new user. I'm a what now? No, I said, where's the miniature anatomist when you need one? And then you answered my question about the muscle. And I was oh so delighted. That highlight was harsh. Actually, that whole arm is... Maybe I shouldn't... I'm gonna tone that down a little bit because, as we said earlier, it's bent backwards, so it's not gonna catch as much shadow. I like, if you want to get all super realistic, you can add like purples or blues or even greens to the shadows, because like some people will say that skin shadow is blue or green, etc. And that what that really means is that, like, yes, there's more green or blue in it. That doesn't mean that the entire shadow is like green or blue per se, but you can, and it'll be realistic if you do, like, and I decided to do that now. Mix some a little bit of green or blue or teal, like, into the shadows. What you use depends on the skin tone of the person. So like a person with Caucasian skin might have a little bit more green in their shadows, but it's a subtle effect, and you like, if you overdo it, it'll look weird. But done right, it can look very realistic and just very good. So why not? We're adding a little bit of, like, you shouldn't just grab green or blue paint and paint it on there unless you want a really stark contrast. But like putting some green or blue into your skin tone mix will make it look really cool. You do run the risk of like making the person look a bit unhealthy, because like skin is really complicated. In a lot of places we've got like warmth in the skin. Depends on where on the body, how much, like, but like obviously we got blood, which shows more in some areas of the body than others. So like your nose and cheeks will be redder than your arms, for example. And I find I often sort of like, when I paint noses, I like just highlight the tip of the nose. So I'm trying to remember to highlight the ridge a bit more. I tend to accidentally paint a lot of very pointy noses. I don't know about you. I think the skin is starting to look pretty good, right? Picture got a little dark there for a while. I should probably stop using automatic lighting settings on my camera and just do them manually, because I notice it's switching back and forth trying to auto adjust. Dead Aussie Gamer sends a lot of hearts. Thanks, Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to the stream. How are you doing? And Tia Mattinen, I'm sorry if I offended you in any way. I didn't mean to. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. So, Dead Aussie Gamer, how dead are you today? Shall we try and dark paint those eyes? Yeah. But I'm gonna add some Screamer Pink to our rosy skin. And rosy skin bug milk glow mix. And give a little bit of warmth back to this here, ladies. Sorry for the shakiness there. These are ladies' lips. Like the lower lip there. Tiamatinen, no worries, it's not easy to offend me. I almost said defend. Okay, good. I was just referring to you helping out with Elinor's anatomy class. Good afternoon, Goslado. Yeah. Good evening for me, but good afternoon to you. How are you doing? Let's paint those eyes. Grab your favorite white paint. The evening is technically after the noon. Yeah. True. Very true. I shall remember that. Dead Aussie Gamer, evening, loving the Harpooner, can't wait to pick up my own. Thanks, I'm glad you like her. A little bit out of focus now, right? Kind of bit overexposed. Yeah, they're cool minis. I especially like this one. She's the coolest one. Are the Harpooners ones like, because I know some of them are like through the breach characters. Okay. I don't know if these are or not. So I darkened the eye sockets earlier by painting some scorched brown there. And I'm now painting the eyes by just painting 2 dots of white in that shadow. Oh, this one's a little smaller, so that's tricky. I'll darken that a bit more. Like this eye socket turned out to be a little too thin for me to paint the eye. Okay. Come back to normal here. I'm gonna try and make this a little bit less bright. Glad you're good, Guslado. Guslado, I need to get the Harpooners too. They look like they'll work out nicely with Lord Cooper. Yeah, probably. I think I'm more into like the EVS though. Lord Cooper is cool. I think so too. But like Maxine, she's really cool too. And I like Trixie Masters, and she's very tricksy, isn't she? And like, I also think it's really cool that we got a middle-aged woman as a master. Because I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we didn't really have a middle-aged woman. It was either young women or witches. So I think it's really cool that we got her, and that she's a scientist, and also seems to be a bit insane now with Malifaux Burns. But Lord Cooper does seem like a lot of fun to play. Just going out hunting things. Like, that's the bait. That's gonna get adversary. We're gonna shoot that down. I kind of like that. I'm not sure if Sonia's age is ever specifically mentioned. I always thought of her as in her mid-30s. Yeah, maybe. But I mean, like, she looks pretty young. Like, Maxine's got grayish hair and like you can see some aging in that face. And I feel like it's really cool that Weird's doing that, because in games in general, you often just see either really young women or crones, and you don't often see the middle-aged ones. Maybe I'm just saying this because I'm 33. I'm getting old. Right, it didn't paint her like the inside of her hand much, I guess, because I didn't see much of it, but I guess I'll try and make that look a little bit nicer. Because I like Lord Cooper a lot because he has a dinosaur. I mean, that's 100% a very valid argument. Like, I can't argue with that, right? And I mentioned this earlier in the stream. Like, if you play Titania, and you bring Marcus as a second master, as a hired master, you can have a you can have flying Malosaurus Rex. And who doesn't want a flying Malosaurus Rex? Ooh, that's what you've been doing lately? That is so awesome. That's hilarious. Flying camouflaged dinosaur. That's kind of like that shitty Jurassic World movie, but better. Much better, because shitty movie is shitty, but like in my opinion. You know, that gene modified dino. I mean, it's cooler when Marcus does it. And if it dies, the Gora can bring him back. That's nice. See, though, I don't want to call it a him, because then you can't make the clever girl pun. Malosaurus is a she, right? Clever girl. It can be whatever you want it to be, but missed opportunity, I feel like. Like the opponent's face when you bring back your Malosaurus Rex from the Gora. Not amused, I can imagine. Not amused. Like, I know opponents aren't always very happy when you bring Isamu back. With Slaughter. Well, it's obviously got frog DNA, so it can change. That's reasonable. Yeah. Sure. Then it can be both clever girl and good boy. That's good. Clearly the superior being. Because I like Marcus's new mutation. Like, what did you do now? Yeah, this one, it's a new upgrade. Makes it so it can change sex. Why? Why would you do that? Well, then it can be a clever girl and a good boy. Tiamatinen. Depends on which dino Titania Cooper brought with them. Cooper does have a clutch of the eggs, and Titania can find them in the wild. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that story update. I didn't know that. That makes sense. Some of them are probably good boys, and some of them are clever girls. I can get behind that. Yeah, okay, so what do we paint next? I think skin is like, we might go back to it later, but yeah. Okay, we're gonna put a tiny bit of white on the tip of her nose. Guslado. Marcus has been my favorite master of M3. We're finally nailed mechanics to be able to mutate beasts. Yeah, see, I was skeptical at first because I thought like M3 Marcus was so much fun, and that's because he was so flexible. He could do so much cool stuff. Like, I kind of miss Alpha and Domesticate and stuff like that. But after trying Marcus, who was my favorite master probably in M2E, like after trying him in M3E a couple of times, I've had a lot of fun. I guess it's sometimes you're just like when your darling changes, like it's a little rough. Speaking of rough, I keep bumping into that lamp. So I had a lot of fun with 6 saber tooths, 6 individuals, 2 bodies, right? Having the wings mutation. Just so hard to pin down and so fast. So we're doing these tiny little dots of white as a final highlight. I think I might need to do some blending on this arm. But like, it's also making her skin look a little shiny, which is fair. Like, she's obviously using her muscles while working. She might be a little bit sweaty. Or wet from the sea. Goswara, I loved M2 Marcus, but he always had in his lore that he would mutate beasts, but he didn't really have the ability to do in M2E. Yeah, he I guess the thing was that he did it like behind the scenes, because like the saber-tooth Cerberus, it's like his creation, right? And I suppose the mutation it did was that sort of buff he had going. He could buff the beasts, maybe. But yeah, you're right. I agree with that. Word Kyle, I'm very excited about his title. Yeah, I mean, like, me too. Show it. Show it to me. I want to see it. Also, Jackalope, best totem ever. So cute. I mean, ferocious. So I mentioned earlier that I didn't like the blue of this top. So we're painting a mix of that McCrack blue and black, because I wanted it a bit darker and toned down. Jackalope is also really good with him. Yeah, it's cute. Used to have this thing in M2 where I tried to kill monsters with a Jackalope, like get the last hit. I know I got Tara and Lynch that way. Maybe someone else, I'm not sure. Got that top painted. Yeah, the Jackalope is pretty cool. Like rules-wise too. Tiamatinen, I'm just hoping Raspy gets an amazing title and enforcer. Yeah, I think she can use some love. I mean, she's like, say she's not necessarily the best, or maybe we're just bad at playing her in Sweden. I don't know. I would love to get my Raspy crew out more often. For me, I don't really mesh with that playstyle, I guess. She's really resource intensive. Yeah, and I feel like maybe I'm often drawn to masters who like solve problems. Maybe that's part of it too. Like for me, she's more of a Well, she solves the problem of the enemy a bit by shutting them down, I guess. Like controlling. Because I tend to like mobile things a lot. I know you can get some mobility with like the ice dancers and stuff. I really like the Blessed of December. So I'm painting like a mid-tone on these blue-green areas with Citadel Cabalite green, leaving the Lupercal green just in those deepest crevices. Guslado, one of my favorite M2 moments was using Marcus Alpha on an opponent's Miranda and then shape-changing her into a Jackalope. Yeah, maybe that's why we don't have Alpha anymore. I didn't do that, but like it made me smile that there were these little quirks, like you could Alpha McCabe and having thrown off the horse and stuff like that. And I can understand why that is gone, but it was also a little fun. Like you could also Alpha, if you Alpha'd Ramos, he could blow himself up. I can see why you wouldn't want that in the game. Oh yeah, we said the exact same thing, sort of. Yeah. And that's probably not gameplay you want. But it makes for good stories. So on the little hat, we're painting most of it Cabalite green, and then we are leaving like a line of Lupercal green there at the bottom to suggest it being a little creased. So yeah, this is how far we get on her today. Pretty cool sculpt. I think the skin is kind of good. We might need to blend it a bit if we wanna. I mean, she looks great for the tabletop. Pretty advanced for the tabletop, perhaps, maybe. And next time we'll work more on the clothing. And this Mini is not going to take as many streams as the Gremlins because she has, I mean, it's like an infantry model compared to a cavalry model and not as many details as the others. So we're kind of super impressive for just 2 hours. Thanks. That's nice to hear. I'm glad you think so. Sorry, I put her in shadow. I'm also gonna, for next stream, look at that brightness contrast because that automatic setting isn't really doing its job. But yeah, also like I will be making bases for the BioBash models or BioStarter models we made. And I'll try and get a YouTube video up on that and I'll link it. I'll be sure to link it so you get to see it. And I'll show them off on the channel when they're done too. Guslada, oh yeah, I'm planning on doing some cool swamp bases with some water effects. Like I'm not the most experienced with water effects, but I'll see what I can do. and it should be fun. So like water effects and a lot of foliage. It should look good. So I'm going to show those off on the stream too. And yeah, my YouTube channel is a little bare so far, but that should give some more content, and I'll have more time to work on that channel now that I have moved and I'm almost done unpacking things. So that should be good. My YouTube channel so far only got 3 videos, but if you want to check it out, it's Sybarite _painting. Like you can find me on Instagram with Sybarite _painting too. And here on Twitch, I'm Sybhel. So SYBHEL. No, Goslaro, there aren't pictures of the BioBosch models up yet. I will snap some pictures of them. I like my girlfriend asked me if I could eat lunch with her and her family today, so I didn't have time to take pictures of them. So that's my partner's fault. Not my fault at all. But there will be pictures up very soon. Thanks for today, and see you next week. Bye. Have a good time.